We're using three things now. We already learned three things: key position, opposition, and outflanking. In this video, we are learning outflanking. Welcome back to Chess with Rahul. To a new chapter, that is the second chapter of King Pawn Endgame. We're learning how to win with one pawn. Yes, you can see that we have a pawn, we have an extra pawn, and we have to win this position. We'll learn how to win. So there are some things to be remembered in King and Pawn Endgame. So that is some you have to take opposition. We learned what is opposition in the chapter one. So second thing is the pawn should be behind and outflanking. Yes, we learn all the things about this. Without any further ado, let's get started. Yes, in this position, I told you that there are three things to be remembered. First thing is opposition. So there are some key things to be remembered. So this is a line of promotion. So you need to remember this line of promotion, which our pawn marches down to promote, and we can win. We can promote a rook or a queen, and we can win the game. So in this position, to promote this pawn, our opponent will not allow it easily. So we need to use our king. So if you try to push the pawn and try to win, so opponent will block your pawn. So opponent has the ability to block your pawn in the path if you directly push the pawn. So these tricks, and after like, if you don't push the pawn and try to like play some tricks, something like this, then you backfire because your opponent gets to the pawn, and you need to save your pawn. So you need to be staying near the pawn. You can't go away from the pawn. So to do progress, you should be near the pawn, or just staying near the pawn will opponent will also follow you. And by pushing the pawn, you're going for a stalemate or a draw. Here, here, here. And this is a draw position. If you push, the king comes to e8, and if you play your king to e6, it's a stalemate. And if you try to become smart and like you think that you're good, I can just play here and there and try to win. Your opponent stays near the pawn. For you to win the game, you need to promote. So for opponent to draw the game, you have to capture the pawn or not let the pawn promote. So that is the thing. So, and this position will repeat again and again, and you can't do anything with this. And yes, we learned the chapter one that there is a key position. Remember the key position. Our opponent can't play his king over there when our king is here. He can only play on those two squares when we play here, like something like in upper here. If he plays here, it's a loss for black because we reached our key position on opponent's turn that we learned in the chapter one. So he also can't make mistakes. So he has to be proper. You can try to trick your opponent, but if your opponent plays correctly, then it's a draw. So, and he has to come here. He has to give up the opposition. We learned what is opposition. Opposition is a position where both the kings are facing each other, and both the kings cannot move front. All the three squares in front of the both the kings are covered by themselves. So neither the king can move front. So it could one king could step side or back if he has space. So now we push the pawn, the king comes out, we get in and we control this square and we promote easily and we win the game. So going back, so now you know that only if your opponent blunders, that is. You could win only if your opponent blunders. If your opponent doesn't blunder, now you need to learn a way to win the game from here only, which is proper way. Don't give a chance for your opponent. So if your opponent plays properly, then it's a draw. You just lost a winning game to a draw. So, so in this position, taking opposition. So remember, this is a line of promotion. I will be pointing this every time in the this video. And second thing is opposition. Third thing is pawn keeping behind. What do you mean by keeping the pawn behind, not bringing the pawn back? You're bringing the king front. So there are looks like three moves are good, but only one move is correct, which is king to d3, taking opposition. So taking opposition is very very important in this king and pawn games. So having opposition has the power to control your opponent's king. Now look at your opponent king. I told you this. Whoever has opposition has the power to control opponent's king. Now the black king has to choose to move back or sidestep. Wherever he moves, like if he sidesteps here, we could choose to follow him or go the other way. Going the other way is called outflanking. That's the third point of ours, which is outflanking. So a new concept after key position, that is outflanking and opposition. We're using three things now. We already learned three things: key position, opposition, and outflanking. In this video, we are learning outflanking. So going the other way, which is outflanking, because we want to push this ball. So we can't go head on to crush him. We can't push him head on. So we are going the other way to make a path for our pawn. So there are many ways for our opponent to continue. Moving back will be resulting in just following him, and the same thing follow here. You don't need to follow because this is the line of promotion. You only need to follow him only if he is in the sideways or in the line of promotion. Otherwise, you just push the king back by outflanking, going the other way. If he comes here, take opposition. He comes here, opposition. Sorry. Here in this position, if he comes here, then outflank him again because you have to outflank only if he is not in the line of promotion. Don't outflank in any other ways. Okay. He played here and he plays here. Now don't outflank here. So you can only outflank your opponent king from the line of promotion. So this is not the line of promotion. You can't outflank over here because this is not the line of promotion. This is the line of promotion. So if he comes to the line of promotion, you should take opposition yet one more time. It's important. So now the king has to again choose back. So having opposition line of promotion is very, very important. So whenever he sidesteps from the line of promotion, now you outflank. You can only outflank when he steps away from the line of promotion. And if he backstop, just follow him. Simple. So goes there, just follow him. Push the king back, and you can bring the pawn and we can promote him. I'll tell you how to do that. So he sidesteps, we outflank him. What is outflanking again? Going the other way. The outflanking only when he sidesteps from the line of promotion. So king goes back here. He blocks the path again with the path of this pawn. Okay. Now I told you that the pawn can't be here because it's a draw. We already learned that. But I think we could push pawn single. It looks like logical, but still the pawn is behind. So when you push the pawn, yes, this applies. This is our second role. We have to keep our pawn behind, but we lose the first role, that is having opposition. We should have the opposition. Now our opponent took the opposition. So when opponent takes opposition, now we have to choose to sidestep or move back. So this is the power of opposition. If he comes here, now he could go for outflanking, but there is no use for him because he doesn't have any pawn to outflank. Or anyway, he could choose to follow us. So we'll just follow till the entire position, and if you go back, it's a draw. Now we know already know this. This pawn will not be promoting if with the correct play. So that we are assuming that our opponent is correct, will play correct, and here we can't push the pawn. Here we can't push the pawn. So we have to take a position one more time. The king side steps again. Going the other ways will not work. If he comes here, I outflank my opponent because he's just stepped away from the line of promotion. Now you could go for there and there. There are many ways. So going back, I told you that push the king back, push him back as much as possible, and just push the pawn. Winning. Simple. So if he comes back, taking a horizontal opposition, this is a good for you because now you could break the second roll now, only in this position when he is taking horizontal opposition. When he is taking horizontal opposition, you could break this that now you don't need to outflank him. Now you could push. When he is taking horizontal opposition, the king is not in the line of promotion, or nor he can come to the line of promotion. So we could push here. Comes over there. Now he's trying to go for king to e7. So when there is a horizontal opposition, our opponent can't block the pawn. He has to be here to block the pawn. So when he takes horizontal opposition, you could push at any time. Double push, single push, nothing. Doesn't matter. Just can push directly. So after double push, if he comes here, now you can't push it again. Now this is a draw because we reached our key position on. I mean, we reached our side by side with the pawn. When the king is in front of us, it's a draw. So we after playing his king here, we have to get our king front again. And if he moves the king back again, now we already covered these three squares. We could push. He goes there, then opposition. He side steps whenever he side steps from the line of promotion, we outflank, and we create a red carpet. We we created a red carpet here. Our pawn is sure to promote in these three squares. Our opponent can't stop us from promoting. So this is a red carpet that I set and I win the game. I told you that we should, in this position, we should take opposition. He sidesteps, we outflank whenever our opponent sidesteps from the line of promotion. Doesn't matter where he's sidestepping, maybe here, you outflank this way because you're going the other way as from your opponent because you want to make a path for our pawn. So now we learned what to play for this. This simple go for double push and doesn't matter even if he does in the beginning as well. Like in this position after king here and here, side steps we outflank. If he does this the same thing, you could push double push again. You don't have to push single. You could double push again. The king goes that way to come to there. Then we block him. Don't let him come here. Already blocking three squares. If he moves friend, move friend. Block him. Not letting our pawn opponent king reach to block the pawn. If he moves front again, we also move front. Don't let the king move anywhere. Okay, he comes back for the pawn. This square is covered. This square is covered. We push the pawn, gets to the pawn, but we save it by pushing it one more time, and our opponent can't reach there. So this is an easy win for us. Push and retop, and we win the game. Okay. So we were discussing about here. So side steps the line of promotion, and we have to take opposition. Whenever he side steps away from the line of promotion, we should outflank going the other way. And so something like these moves, which after taking opposition, something like these moves will not be helping our opponent. We could outflank him anyway because this is a line of promotion. He's going away from that, so we could outflank here as well. This is also useful. He comes here. Now again, it looks like he just stepped away from the line of motion, but he did not do that. He just came from there. So we could do a outflanking anyway. Outflanking is you have to go the other way around the pawn with the pawns in the line of promotion. You have to go around in the line of promotion. So if he goes here, then opposition side steps outflank. So after position side steps again opposition side opposition. I mean he side steps we outflank goes over he goes up we take opposition he side steps we outflank he goes over there. We learn what to do for this and if he goes over there now this is very easy. Now still we can't push double push because he will take opposition. So that means we should we keep our pawn here? No, you could push, but not double push. Double push, you will lose opposition, and you don't have one more move to push. The pawn is still the pawn will come to side by side with the king. Now we lost the second rule. After double push, we'll lose the first rule, and if you push again, we'll lose the second rule as well. We'll lose everything. That's a draw for the game. I mean, we lost the winning game to a draw. It's also a loss. So after king to e7, now there are two ways to continue, which is opposition or outflanking. Our same method. We can till push him back till then. And one more method is pushing the pawn single, not double. Using this is a you can see this as a waiting move, waiting for our opponent, a simple waiting move. King to e3, developing our pawn as well. He pushes his king to f7. After king to f7, we took opposition. Now we push the pawn again. Now we push the pawn again to break this opposition. He got the opposition. We break it by pushing the pawn again. He king comes to e7. Then we again take opposition. So now our opponent has to sidestep again. So I other move back where we'll just follow him. If he moves there, just you can take opposition there. And if he sidesteps again, we're just going for our natural method, which is outflanking, going the other way. So if he comes here, then push. Nothing is our opponent just took a horizontal opposition, and our opponent king is not blocking our path of the pawn. So we could just push the pawn. If he comes here and we push it again further, and we make a red carpet and we win the game. After king to f6, so our opponent could go for king to e8, blocking the path. Now we could go for opposition side steps or flank the same method. But there is a one more way to continue. There is one more way to continue. This can only happen in the sixth rank and eighth rank. That's why the chapter one is very, very important. It can only happen. Uh, I told you that in this position, I told you that in this position you can't push the pawn because we will lose opposition. But after in this position we could push Yes, we are losing opposition. Yes, we are losing opposition. But after losing the opposition, this is the power of the sixth rank king. When our king reaches sixth rank before our pawn, we have an advantage. Even if you lose opposition or if you get opposition, you will win anyway. The reason behind this is when you push the pawn to e6, we reach our key position. It's very, very important that we learned in the chapter 1. We reach our key position on our opponent's turn. Not our turn, we reach the key position on opponent turn. That is winning for us. That is winning for us. King to e8, and I push the pawn, and he gets out, I get it, and I win the game. So what? Why is that happened? Why that doesn't work in this in the center way? Why that doesn't work in this position? Doesn't okay, do the same thing? Yeah. Okay. Let me just assume that. Okay. Let me assume that the sixth rank is the last rank. We're just assuming that the sixth rank is the last rank, and our pawn promotes as sixth rank. There is no eighth and seventh and eighth rank. We'll push the pawn single. He takes opposition. I push the pawn again. I break the opposition and I reach the key position, assuming the sixth rank is the last rank. He sidesteps. I push the pawn, and he doesn't have any square to go back. He has to come out, and I get it. So I promote, assure the promotion in the sixth rank. So okay, let's come back to the original reality here. Sixth rank is not the last rank. There is seventh and eighth rank. So I push the pawn single. He takes opposition. I push it again. I reach the key position on opponent's turn, which is good for me. Only in the last run, that is. I push the pawn again. Now he doesn't need to come out. He could go back. He can make the correction that happened in the position or problem happened in the position by going back. So now this he takes opposition and he is good with the position and he can make a draw or insufficient material. Stalemate or insufficient material. Where this is a draw, which is very, very useful in these key positions. So there are three things to be remembered. So one is having opposition, should not lose opposition at any time. But there are some exceptions for that. And you should not push your pawns. Your pawn should be always behind the king. And there is an exception for that as well. When you take a horizontal opposition, the pawn could be side by side with the king. And the third one is outflanking, yes, which is very, very important. Whenever your opponent side steps away from the line of promotion, you should outflank your opponent. And by keeping all this in mind, I think you can easily learn one pawn endgame and you can master it. So the main thing is you need to practice this position on the board or you do with your friends, play this position, play with them. Just see what are the variations he can play. There are many, many moves that I can't cover in one video, where there are many, many variations, many, many moves. You have some confusion. What if I play that, this, that, this? If I play this and that, so that and this, there are many variations. I can't cover everything in one video. So try to practice and try to grip on this. Keep these principles in mind, and you can easily learn this. And remember the key position. Look at if you don't know what is key position, look for the chapter one, and you can understand what is key position, and you easily learn how to win one pawn king endgame, how to win one pawn, how to win with one pawn in the king and pawn endgame. Yes, that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one.